Okay, I recently decided to go back and figure out how to do the first inuit weave to making the inuit net by loop manipulations. And what I found was if I take the thumb down through the index, under and up through the little finger, back under and up through the index, I will have done it. And then if I rotate the entire figure and go down through again, but this time down through for the inverse and then up through, I do the inverse, and that is the first weave of the inuit and then the first weave inverse of the inuit. So I'll do it one more time just to show that it is what is happening. Down through, up through, up through, rotate the figure, down through for the inverse, up through, and that is again. So that should be the first two weaves of the Cherokee 7 stars, first two star systems. And if I finish with the inuit net and use Murphy's power lift, you see that those are the stars and the center. But what I became interested in when I figured that out was permutations of that weaving process. And I would like to show what happens whenever you change that slightly. Of course, I have to slow down and carefully undo, because in order to make the next figure, you always have to undo the first figure. There we go, a little bit there. And learning the patience to do that and to remember where you are and what you're thinking about, and to continue the process of investigating what you're investigating takes a bit of practice and patience. And I am down here, and there I am. Okay, LDNA 3. This time I'm going to go up through, and down through for my first weave. So this will be up through, and up through for my inverse. Up through, up through, up through, up through, down through. Here, let's do it down through and up through. I don't know if I did that right, but I can always go back and check what I've done. Then I finish with the inuit net. But I'm more interested in what happens to the center complexity of this figure if I go ahead and put two diamonds on the end so I can have some slack in the center. And then when I straighten it out, and you can see it's altogether different. But what I find interesting is that if you jiggle it with that looseness in there, you get a more complex sort of reality, and it reminds me more of what I imagine the DNA looks like in reality between the two twisted spines of the DNA and the center complexity of the different atoms and molecules within it. And there you see it changes, and this freedom to change and to assume a three-dimensional sort of reality to me is quite interesting. And as I began to imagine and pile up all of the different weavings which were possible with the loop transfer in emulation of the inuit weaves, I found an entire matrix of possibilities, which I am now investigating. And as I find more interesting particular weaving processes and the resultant complexity in the center, I will be reporting.